What's going on, people? We are back again with another video, and this one right here is all about Danielle. Now, Danielle says something very interesting in this video regarding Yohan's status in terms of coming to America, but also talks about other little things here and there as well that evolve around the same topic. So we're about to get into it, but please do start off by hitting that subscribe button as well as that as well as that like button. Yeah, subscribe and like and comment. Yeah, whatever. Let's get into this madness. Aha.
We're gonna change. Do you feel bad that you lied to him and told him you were gonna both move to the US? Because that actually isn't true. I didn't lie to him. So this never made it to any of the shows, and now that they've all aired, I can talk about it because it was never filmed. I've applied after we met. As soon as I came home, I applied for his tourist visa. I filled out the application. I have a copy of it. I think I shared it on my stories the other day, and then I deleted it because I was being petty. But yeah, I filled out the application. It was like 4 days after I got back, first week in July. Did all the paperwork. I sent it to him. He had to go to Banco Popular and pay for something in order to submit the application, get an appointment, and that was when we realized that the consulate was closed. This was during COVID. Consulate in the Dominican Republic did not fully open for 2.5 years. It was closed, so at that time when it was closed, we made the decision that we were going to get married quickly so that we can get a spousal visa. After we made that decision, they were still not taking spousal visa appointments, and at that point, it was so late that the consulate was closed that it was still going to take like a year and a half, and I only had a year off of work. I was taking a 1-year leave, that we needed a different plan. And so the spousal visa we chose because we got the green card faster, but we learned that the tourist visa would get him on the ground faster, and at that point, that was what we needed. So we decided we were going to apply for the tourist visa, which we did, and he has a tourist visa appointment in January that he's been waiting a year and a half for. People think that you can just come here from DR. No, it takes a very long time to get these things. I don't think he's going to get a tourist visa to the United States because he has so much debt and he doesn't have a job. But he's trying to, but I know that he also is trying to get an Argentinian visa. I think this girl's trying to get a visa, but I don't know if...
All right. So Yohan, so there's a plan to get him a tourist visa. Now, of course, she says that he's got an interview in January, which is an interview that I would imagine that she would have pre-planned for him way back before they broke up. All right, cool, no worries. But he's also trying to get a visa for Argentina. Now, that one definitely hit me out of nowhere. I was like, huh? What is going on? So now there's a woman from Argentina who's also trying to help him get a visa there. But here's the thing, though. He's not just trying to get a visa for just America or Argentina. It's also another country as well, which is something that we're going to discover throughout this video itself in particular. But I will say this, though. She does make a very good point about his financial status, you know. So him getting a visa based on his financial situation, that will probably be very, very hard, especially if you're looking to get yourselves into the States itself in particular. But listen, right now, I'm just listening to what Daniel's trying to say and taking it in, but let's continue.
That I like him. I don't know what part. I don't know. Maybe I'm still... She also never told him why she wanted to live in the DR. I don't understand what makes you think that I lied to my husband. Just because you guys don't see things on television doesn't mean that they're lies or that we never had a conversation. I know you guys think that you see our whole lives, but you see 5 minutes of our lives. There are lots of conversations and plans and things that we talk about that have nothing to do with anything on TV at all. And Yohan was coming to the US. Yohan is still coming to the US. That's still Yohan's plan. That was always our plan. And I should have canceled his visa appointment, and I didn't.
You see, that part blew my mind. I was like, what? He's still coming to the US? Interesting. What? Let's say he's still attempting to come to the US.
Because at the end of the day, what I want is for his sister and his nieces to get out of the US, and the only way for that to happen is for Yohan to get to the US. I don't give a fuck about him. He's gonna rot here. He's gonna rot wherever he goes because he's poison. I'm not at all worried about him. I don't want a relationship with him. He can have as many babies as he wants. He can connect with as many of you as he wants. I'm not worried about him, but I am worried about the situation that there are girls that are my family are in. That is what I'm worried about.
I do find it quite interesting how she has so much of a big heart to worry about his family stuff in particular, you know. I mean, I get it. Listen, it's great that she's got a heart to want to worry about his family, but if you ask me personally, if she's still looking to be connected to his family, that tells me that she's still looking to be connected to him. That's the reality, because everybody knows to move on for someone, you have to move on completely. The only time you still stick around for other people and their families is if you still want to see that person, or you still want to have a connection with that person, or, most importantly, if you still want to keep tabs on that person. There's also that too. And Danielle's the kind of person that would like to keep tabs on people, if you ask me, because she's someone who likes to be friends with all of her exes, which is very, very interesting. Like, why? For what benefit? Make that make sense. So, can we put anything behind Danielle? I guess absolutely not. But here's the thing, though. This isn't just it, though. This is where we get into the other nitty and gritty of the information that we're getting from Danielle.
Do you have to file for divorce in DR? I think so. My marriage certificate is there, so I have to go get it anyway, so I think it's faster. Yohan's trying to get a visa anywhere he can. So I have evidence of an American who's trying to get him a visa, and a Canadian who's trying to get him a visa, and an Argentinian who's trying to get him a visa. Or when I say trying to get it, it's like they're trying to help him figure out ways to get it.
I find find that so fascinating. But when she says an American, I mean, the American can only really be her because she's the one that set up an interview with him anyway in the first place. So I guess if that interview doesn't go well, then maybe he has got another American to help him, fair enough. But to get a visa for an American, for Argentina and Canada, that is crazy. That is wild. This guy is active, man. He's a bit too active. I mean, do people not watch the show? Like, I mean, I guess not everybody watches the show, right? But let's be real. If you don't know about this guy by now, it's a bit concerning because she's put him all over Facebook groups and everything. But again, not everybody's a part of those things, so I do get it. But it's not looking good right now. In the fact that Yohan's on this mission to pretty much get these visas for whatever purposes he feels necessary. You know what I mean? But let's get into the last little clip here.
The agreement was to wait in DR until he was able to get his visa approved, which we knew was going to take at least a year and a half. So I took a year sabbatical to stay in DR for a year. I also needed to get to know him before I was going to live with him in the United States and financially support him and all those things. We didn't really know each other, so it made a lot more sense for us to do that in DR than it did here.
You see, this point here really made no sense to me. You're telling me that you decided to not go to the US, obviously because of the whole visa situation, but also on top of that, because it was better for you to stay in the DR and really get to know him before moving to the States. All right, cool. But the thing that I don't understand is this. You still married him though. Why marry someone that you are still getting to know? So you're telling me that she wanted to marry him, but get to know him at the same time, and then figure out whether or not she was going to take him to the States as a husband. She makes it sound as if a divorce is something that is cheap, and something that is quick. Unless she meant that she got to know him first before marrying him, and then maybe she meant that. But to be honest with Danielle, when she says certain things just don't add up into certain timelines, because she talks a whole lot of blah, 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 but this whole blah, 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 blah then doesn't mix up with the rest of the blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, does she listen to what she's saying? But maybe I'm deeping it too much. Maybe I'm looking for a different angle. Maybe I'm just completely in the wrong. But as far as I'm concerned, Danielle lacks the ability to make enough sense. Yes, to make enough sense. You know, because I just can't fathom this whole thing. This whole the best way I can explain it is like this. If I'm losing my words, aren't I? Crikey, man. Crikey. Okay, listen, let's keep it a buck, okay? Very simple. Yohan is allegedly still coming to the US, or he's still trying to come to the US, but on top of that, he's still trying to go, he's now trying to go to Argentina, but also on top of that, he's also trying to go to Canada as well, okay? But Danielle got to know him by marrying him in the DR before wanting to take him to the US. And she's saying that the plan to take the US was always in the cards, and that is why they have this interview coming up. So him coming to the US is always going to be a part of the plan. It was never not going to be a part of the plan. It's just that when they showed it us on the show, we just wasn't given this information. But here's the thing though. Yes, there's a chance she may be telling the truth, but then there's a chance where she's saying all of these things because their relation's not over, so therefore she can't be exposed for necessarily not actually taking him there and actually wanting to stay in the DR. And I do find it quite interesting about this whole year sabbatical from work. That's interesting because she didn't mention that before neither. And the reason why I find it interesting is because, yes, I know that there were certain things that she couldn't say while the show was airing, but there was times when the show wasn't airing. But to be fair, the whole year of work, I never knew about that, to be honest with you. But it is interesting though, because Danielle talks about, you know, the financial side of Yohan. Him coming to the States is going to be hard with his financial side. But isn't it hard for someone to sponsor someone if they are in a bankruptcy situation? I mean, I'm not forgetting that this woman's bankrupt, or at least filed for, or whatever the hell happened. You know what I mean? Like I said, there's a lot of blah, 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 blah coming out from her mouth. And when you add up the blah, 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 blahs, the answer is still blah, 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 blah. Because how? But then again, though, it makes sense to why they were looking for a visitor or tourist visa rather than a spousal visa. I reckon the tourist visa was purely because maybe she didn't have enough money, or her financial history couldn't be strong enough to support to sponsor him, and that's why they had to go around this route. There is that possibility too. Like I said, she likes to talk a whole lot of blah 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 blah, and then each time she does it, all we get is blah 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 blah, and then I've got to sit here and figure it out. And now I'm like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Blah 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 blah. Someone's fully gonna make a meme out of this blah 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 blah, isn't they now? Damn it, yeah. Well, if I can become a meme, I won't complain. Blah 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 blah. But either way, though, let me know what you're thinking and we'll talk about it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, peace.